Welcome to Knicksfandom. This is an independent New York Knicks fan-based podcast, which was created by fans for fans. The show is hosted by LA Blackwell, Danny, and Flau. They'll discuss the issues surrounding the Knicks, the NBA, and various other sports-related topics. Join us. It's going to be a heck of a ride.
We're playing basketball. We love that basketball. Basketball is my favorite sport. I like the way they dribble up and down the court. Woo! And on today's show, the 2017 NBA regular season has already begun. We will briefly give our predictions about which team we believe will be in the top 8 teams record-wise in the Eastern and Western conferences. In addition, we'll each give our sleeper teams regardless of conference. And lastly, we'll give our overview regarding the New York Knicks in regards to their first 2 games of the season and how we think they will fare this upcoming season. We have a lot on our plate. Sit back, relax, and enjoy, fans. This is episode 33 of our podcast, known as Knicksfandom, and this is season 2. As always, I'm your host, LA Blackwell. Hope everyone out there is doing great. It's always great to be joined by my co-host, Danny D. How you doing, Danny D?
I'm good, LA. I'm good. What's going on with you, man?
I'm good, man. We back. It's season 2. You know, I'm also great to be joined by my fellow co-host, Flo. How you been, Flo?
LA, I'm good. How you doing today, man?
I'm good, man. We back. But before we get things started, I want to give a special shout out to one of our dedicated listeners, King77NYC. We recently received a 5-star rating. The listener stated, and I quote, "Love the show. Fellas know their stuff. Good content and facts are on point. We very much appreciate the kind words. So you like to get a shout out as well? Just give us a quick review on iTunes. It only takes a few minutes, folks, but it definitely helps our overall rankings. Also, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube page as well. And lastly, some listeners have recently informed us that they haven't been receiving a new notification as of late. Therefore, make sure to hit the notification little bell icon that you see on YouTube in order to receive all our latest updates. Now that we got all that out of the way, let's get right into it. So starting with you, Flo. Were you looking forward to this upcoming season, or do you think this is all for naught and we'll just end up right where we ended the last 3 seasons, with the Cavs versus the Warriors and the Warriors winning it all yet again? What you think, Flo?
LA, we're preparing for round 3. Cavs, Warriors, once again.
Okay. Well, that's round 4 this time. But what you think about it overall? You feel excited, but you just think this is going to end up right where it's at? And it's like nothing really see new here, folks.
It's gonna be Golden State winning it all again. The only difference is the Cavs have some depth. So you're not going to see a 5-game series. You'll probably see a 6 or 7 game series.
I hear you. It's looking that way, too, in my opinion, so far. But what you think about Danny D?
Man, this is the Lord of the Rings of the NBA. You know, it's the sequel to the sequel to the sequel. We already know how it's going to end. But the exciting part for me and you guys for the NBA is going to see how these teams are trying to build up to get the caliber to face these guys in the finals. So you see the Timberwolves, you see the OKCs trying to match the Golden State Warriors to try to get that title from them. So that's the exciting part for me.
Okay, I hear you. I agree. I think the journey is going to be better than the destination this time. So there's a lot of movement since the last season really started, especially in the Western Conference. There's a lot of players with Jimmy Butler moving over there and things of that nature. So it's like it's something to see on pretty much every team, even with the development of new players, a lot of rookies we looking at who could be really good players down the road. But it's still the big teams, like you stated, Danny D. It's still the same, big doors at the top of the yard. So we'll see what happens as we go along. And I wanted to get right into the Western Conference. I want to talk about what's the top 8 teams, give our little early preseason, regular season predictions about our individual picks and discuss the reason why we select them in this order. And afterwards, we'll discuss any major discrepancies regarding the Western Conference picks, and then we'll do the same for the Eastern Conference before we move on to the next segment of our show. So starting with you, Danny D, which team do you think will finish in the top 8 in the Western Conference this season?
So you want
from last to first.
From last to first.
Yeah.
So I'm going last to first. I'm going with the Denver Nuggets as my 8th seed. Utah Jazz, 7th. 6th is the Clippers. 5th is going to be Timberwolves. 3rd is going to be Thunder. Then I'm going to have the Spurs, the Rockets, and the Warriors.
Okay. Any particular reason why you picked this order? Just briefly.
Just because we already know the Warriors is going to go. And I got the Spurs as the second because I think it's still going to be some inconsistency with the Rockets and the Thunder, even though they got some new players. It's going to be hard for James Harden and Chris Paul to work together, and the same thing for Russell Westbrook to get together with Paul George and Carmelo Anthony. It's going to be some trial and error, and I think the Spurs are more consistent. That's why I'm giving them the second seed.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you, D. How about you, Flo? What's your top 8, starting from last to first?
All right. With the 8th seed, I have the Los Angeles Lakers. My 7th seed is the Denver Nuggets. My 6th seed is the Portland Trail Blazers. My 5th seed is the Minnesota Timberwolves. My 4th seed is the San Antonio Spurs. My 3rd seed is the Houston Rockets. My 2nd seed is the Oklahoma City Thunder. And my number 1 seed is the Golden State Warriors.
Okay. How about you, Flo? Why you picked that briefly?
Well, with OKC, I have OKC second only because they have their big three. If they decide to gel and one of those players decide to sacrifice their game, they can do something real special this year. With the Rockets, the acquisition of Chris Paul and also the signing of my man PJ Tucker, that's going to help the Rockets tremendously. Spurs are the Spurs. They're just getting a little bit older. That's the only reason why I have them 4th. Minnesota is a team that's up and coming. They just signed Wiggins to an extension. They traded for Jimmy Butler. So they're going all the way up, slowly but surely. Portland, their big three, McCollum, Dame Dollar, and the big man, and I keep forgetting his name, so I apologize. They have a nice core there. They start adding some more pieces here and there. Definitely, they can do some damage in the West. The Nuggets, making some trades for Paul Millsap from the Atlanta Hawks. Also going after Danilo Gallinari in a signing trade with the Los Angeles Clippers. And the Lakers, I have a lot of confidence in Lonzo Ball. Definitely, he's going to help that Laker team get better and better. They're going to sneak in as the AFC.
Okay. We'll got some things to discuss. I think the guy you're referring to is Nurkic for Portland. For me, my top 8 right now, going from bottom to top, would be, right now I got the Timberwolves sneaking in there. I got the Grizzlies at 7, the Blazers at 6, Clippers at 5, Thunder at 4, Spurs at 3, Rockets at 2, and the Warriors come out to play one more time at number 1. There's too much firepower right there. So that's my top 8. Briefly, why? I'm going with defense, and I'm going with the teams that's, built upon the previous seasons. I like the Timberwolves talent-wise, but I don't like their defense right now. And I think they're going to spend all season trying to get that under wraps, Thibodeau, I think he's going to do a good job with them, but it's going to take these guys a while to get it going. Also, the Grizzlies look pretty good early. I don't like their overall in the backcourt and everything with that nature, but I like they know their style. They know their style of play. So they know what to do. They've been there a lot of years. I still think they're going to sneak in one more year. The Blazers, I like their backcourt. It's just a little small in the backcourt, but with Nurkic and everything of that nature, they're definitely getting better. Same thing, the Clippers, I think they're going to surprise a lot of teams this year. I think, they're going to play well. Doc Rivers got a little pressure on them. I think that's going to help them out. Thunder speaks for itself. You got the 3 big dogs in there. With those guys, I think they got a lot to prove. Can't bet against Popovich. And with the Rockets and Warriors, I think that's the chalk right there. So we'll jump right into it, fellas. Any debates regarding overall? Anybody want to jump in there real quick? If not, then I'll jump in there quick with one of them. And one thing I just had to say, regarding one pick you picked, Flo. You picked the Wolves at 5. Why do you think they're going to be that good this early in the regular season?
Well, one of the Wolves needed a player with playoff experience. Jimmy Butler fits that identity. A veteran, a scorer, a guy that could be a mentor to the youngsters on that team, aka Andrew Wiggins, Karl Anthony Towns. So that's why I have a lot of belief that they can win the 5th. They can finish with the 5th seed and make the playoffs.
Okay. And what about the Lakers? You think they're going to sneak it in as well? I saw that with the 8th pick.
Yeah, the reason why I like the Lakers again, I think Lonzo's going to help these guys get better. Lonzo don't need to score every game. If he score at least 20 points, maybe once every 5 games, they're good. Other than that, they need him for his rebound and they need him for his assists. They need him for his decision making. They need a leader. He's that guy. He's definitely he's one missing piece in the puzzle of what they're trying to do. They're trying to reestablish a new version of Showtime. Lonzo is key. He is the key.
That's true. He's got a lot of pressure on him early, though. Especially what his father said, as you saw in that first game with Patrick Beverly. They're gunning for him. It's going to be like that all season, I think. He showed a little something, but he's going to have to step up as they go on throughout the season, especially they're trying to make that run at LeBron later on. It's going to be a pivotal season for the Lakers, in my opinion. Anything else you want to add there, Danny D?
No. I said it's going to a lot from shoulders. He had to work on that jump shot and be more consistent. Because, he had a good game, but everybody beat on the Suns in this beginning of the season. Remember that. Portland smacked them up, and CJ didn't even play.
Yeah, very true. And I see Danny D also had the T-Wolves at 5-2. So that's something to keep an eye on. Anything else you want to defend that a little bit, Danny D? Or you feel the same way Flo did with that?
I feel the same way. They got the experience and they got the depth. And Thibodeau got the defense and things like that. So they're really going to get together and clamp down, work on the defense, and try to get some W's out there in the West.
Okay. It's going to be interesting, though, guys. I really think so, especially in the West part. I think injury is going to play a big role with that. You already seen that in the Eastern Conference. And that brings us right to the Eastern Conference. We're going our top 8. Starting with you, Flo, this time. Which team you think will finish the top 8 in the Eastern Conference, starting from last to first?
I'll go with the Indiana Pacers as 8th, the Miami Heat as 7th, the Washington Wizards as 6th, the Toronto Raptors as 5th, the Charlotte Hornets as 4th, the Boston Celtics 3rd, the Milwaukee Bucks as the 2 seed, and the Cleveland Cavaliers as the 1 seed.
Wow, okay. We got some differences there. Any particular reason, Flo?
Well, I wanted to drop down the Celtics even further, but I left them at 3 before they hit with injury because I still believe in Brad Stevens. He'll create some type of scheme and make sure that, Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown won't get exploited. So he'll work out some type of offensive scheme.
Okay. And what about the Wizards? You got them kind of low to me. Why you got them so low at 6?
They still don't have a bench.
Okay. But what about last year, how well they played? You don't think that's going to play a significant role?
No, they're gonna drop a little bit.
Okay. Stand on the square. I like that. All right. How about you, Danny D? What's your top 8 in the East, starting from last to first?
My top 8 going from last to worst, and this is after the injury to Gordon Hayward. We're going number 8. I'm going Miami Heat. 7th, I'm going the Pistons. 5th, I'm going the Hornets. 5th, I'm going the Celtics. 4th, I'm going to Milwaukee Bucks. 3rd, Toronto Raptors. 2nd, Washington Wizards. And number 1 is the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Okay, that's pretty similar to some of the things I see. Question with that regarding your pick, the 8th, the Heat. You think that's a little low, or what's the main reason? Because I'm just asking because last season they started off with the end of the season with a real long hot streak and everything of that nature.
And then they didn't make it.
But they got Waiters Island now.
They didn't make it.
But they added Waiters. That's going to make a big difference. And the experience they gained from last year.
He was there last year.
No, he wasn't. I mean,
Deion Waiters was there last year.
Well, I mean, he was there, but it was at the end when he really got hot to me with Dragic and everything. Really finally,
they're gonna do that. They're gonna listen. They're gonna sneak in. I can't give them no higher than 7th. It's either gonna be 8th or 7th. Okay. But they're gonna sneak in. They can't get no higher than that. So I don't think they're better than that.
I got you. Okay, I can see that. And the Pistons, you think they got enough to sneak in this year too?
Hey man, they got enough. My man Tobias Harris is getting busy. Ain't that right, Flo?
Oh, here
Thank
we go.
you, D. Thank you so much.
Here we go. Here we go with that.
Just want to throw that in there, listeners, for my man Tobias Harris.
I know.
LA, when you gonna buy Tobias Harris jersey, man?
You like him so much he ain't got him in the playoffs. I'm trying to make playoffs if I'm trying to pay that type of money, man. So, nah. You got to do more than that than get busy on this Tim Hardaway and the Knicks. But we're going to get into that as we go later in the show. For my top 8 right now, I got from worst to first, I got the Celtics right now at 8th. Although they couldn't move up, but I'm just not sure about the injury after the Hayward injury. Also with the Pacers, I got them at 7. I got the Hornets at 6, the Heat at 5th, Bucks at 4, Raptors at 3, Wizards at 2, and the Cavs at 1. So that's my pick so far. Main reason why injury hurt the Celtics to me. I don't know how well they're going to do with Kyrie leading the team. He really hasn't led the team by himself to the playoffs. But I still think they still got enough weapons, and I'm still a big fan of their coach, Brad Stevens. So I think that's going to help them out. Also, like how the Hornets been playing so far. You know, that's your guy, Kemba. So we'll see what happens as that goes along. But, you know, as everybody do, I like the Greek Freak with the Bucks. I think they're doing really well right now. Raptors and Wizards, I just think that's the chalk. Both of them teams have been in the playoffs pretty much every year for the last couple of years or so, doing really well. Especially last year, they made a big push. And the Cavs, that's the deepest team out there to me right now. So LeBron, you can't say he don't have no help right now, in my opinion.
LeBron James.
And, you know, they really did a good job recovering after losing Kyrie. And the big thing is Isaiah Thomas can really give him a good push down the road. You see what this team can really do. You know, I think they really can give who we all think the Warriors going to be in the finals, I believe. So I think they can give him a good push unless it's OKC. Either way, it should be an interesting finals/playoffs down the road. But anything else you want to add regarding these conferences that we might then discuss already, fellas? Anybody can just jump in.
I still want to y'all got Indiana Pacers at 7th. You have to explain that to me. Indiana Pacers at 7.
I like the Pacers. I know Paul George is gone. That's a big, loss for them. But the East is so bad to me, in my opinion. But I still think they got a lot of pieces. I'm a Oladipo fan. So I think with him also like Miles, Turner and everything with that nature, if they can, and they also have identity. I like a lot of teams that have an identity. They play defense. So in my opinion, they can sneak in there. I don't think they're going to miss George as much as I think everybody else think they're going to miss him. But it was between them and the Pistons right now, in my opinion, with that spot. And I'm just leaning right now with the Pacers. We could see as the season go along, though. What about you, Flo?
No, I just think that Oladipo now is back home. He went to University of Indiana, should be more comfortable. And I think the organization believes in him. I think this is his time to shine, like you said, LA. So I feel, to me, they can sneak in as the 8th seed with 41, 42, 43 wins. And again, they got another player I like a lot, Darren Collison as a starting point guard. They got an emerging ball player, Miles Turner. They're going to do some things in Indiana. Definitely going to do some things.
Yeah, I concur. We'll see as the season go along, guys. But for the next thing, sleeper teams. I was just trying to see, right now, since we all think it's going to be Warriors and Cleveland again, is there any sleeper teams that stand out to y'all? That might be another reason for fans to want to tune in, even though the championship might be already decided. But you at least can see how these teams grow, see how these young players come along, and might be surprising to a lot of our fans out there or listeners. Starting with you, Danny, do you got any sleeper team that you keeping a little eye on this season?
No, the only reason sleeper team I'm looking at is probably Milwaukee. If they can really gel together and if they get to add some more pieces, they got a young core. And then with the Greek Freak, man, he's coming out with a vengeance. He's coming out. He's throwing up MVP numbers right now. And the way he worked on his game and bulked up over the summertime is crazy. This guy's just dunking on everybody, finishing at the rim and giving them assists. So they really can move up, and with the consistency, if they get some more players around them, they can be a real problem in the East.
Yeah, I like the Greek Freak big time. He's like baby LeBron right now. And he's trusting that jumper a little more. So, like you said, if he keep doing what he's doing and getting the good coaching, the sky's the limit with that guy, man. It's crazy the way he's able to handle that ball and be that tall and everything. How about you, Flo? Who's your sleeper team?
My sleeper team is the Utah Jazz. I have a lot of confidence in Coach Quinn Snyder. coached at the University of Missouri, college basketball. This guy preached defense, defense, defense. And I think that even though they lost Gordon Hayward via free agency, they require Ricky Rubio in a trade for the Minnesota T-Wolves. They still have Rudy Gobert, who's going to play with a chip on his shoulder this year. They still have Derek Favors. They're going to be all right. And don't forget my man Rodney Hood. So they're going to be okay. They're going to surprise some people. They're going to definitely going to challenge for the 8th seed in the West this year.
Okay, I can see that. Thank you there, Flo. Appreciate it. For me, right now, it's just the Kings and the Lakers. Lonzo Ball from the Lakers. They got a lot of talent on that team, the Lakers, to me. Just got to see if it's all going to gel with Lopez, and Lonzo. There's a lot of pieces right there. I'm just going to see what's going to happen as it goes along. With the Kings, I like how they're doing with the George Hill. That's your guy. But I like him as a veteran. Let the guy, Fox and everything, come along slowly and don't have to rush it. Also, you got your other guy, the shooting guard. What's the guy named, Flo? Buddy Hield. Buddy Hield. That's their guy. He's a pretty good little shooter. He's hustled really a lot for the rebounds. And I think they're going to be an interesting team as this season goes along. So I've been watching them on their little NBA tickets, see what happened with them. I think both of them are definitely going to be one of the teams to look at down the road. And that's it for the sleeper teams regarding that. Thanks again, fellas. Appreciate it. And for our next segment, we're going to jump right into our Knicks Roundup. I know Knicks fan been waiting for that one. But here we go. Okay, we're back. Last season, Knicks finished 31-51 and finished 12th place in the Eastern Conference. Phil Jackson and Carmelo Anthony are both gone this season. So how do you think the season will go this year, and what are some of the key areas that we as fans should keep an eye on, Danny D?
Well, to watch out is the key areas is that for the Knicks this year is that we have to play team ball and really work together. Watch out for the guard play. We need another backup guard to help out Frank and Ron Baker. And it's just probably try to keep at home, try to win some games at home. We can try to break 500 and try to win games at home because it's gonna be a long season. It's gonna be a real long season. Just work on the defense and just hope for the best out there when we play. We can get some wins and beat teams that we're supposed to beat, and we can see how it works out from here.
Okay, thank you, Dan D. I concur. How about you, Flo? Same question.
It's important for the Knicks to work on team defense, number one. Number two, I want to see the development of Kristaps Porzingis. Hopefully he becomes an all-star this year. And anything else, hopefully I'd like to see some trades down the road with this team. They've got a lot of weird pieces on that team. They have a lot of shooting guards on the team with Tim Hardaway Jr., Ron Baker, Courtney Lee. They got like 4 big men on the team with Enes Kanter, Kyle O'Quinn, Willy Hernangómez, Joakim Noah. They got 1 power forward, Porzingis, and too many small forwards with Michael Beasley, Lance Thomas, Kaminsky, and Damian Dotson. So, they're going to have to make some trades, and hopefully the trades they make during the season can improve the ball club, whether it's draft picks or whether it's some other players they get in return.
Okay. I agree with you, fellas. Thanks, Flo. Same thing I'm seeing here. Porzingis is number one thing you got to keep your eye on to see if he's the number 1 star down the road or he's the number 2. That's the main thing I'm looking at right there. Also, as well as Hornacek. I think he's definitely on the chopping block. He's getting a lot of heat early in the season with rotations. That's something to keep an eye on. Also, Frank, you got to keep an eye on him, seeing with the injury issues, seeing if he's going to be that point guard down the road that really can lead this team, because this team definitely needs a point guard. And then lastly, the main thing is the draft, because this team they're going to have some big losses right now, from what I can tell, unless they have a major trade or something of that nature. So right now, I'm definitely going to keep my eye on where they are doing draft status-wise as the season goes along, because you need some more pieces. You seen that last night with Tobias Harris. You really got nobody that can really defend those type of players. And since Melo is gone, not saying he was the greatest defender, but you're not getting that offense going against those type of players either, because Tim Hardaway just really struggled last night. But we'll get into that more as we go into the show. And, starting with game 1, the Knicks lost to the Thunder 84-105. And in game 2, the Knicks lost 111-107 to the Pistons after blowing a 21-point lead. Are there any lasting thoughts or trends that stand out to either of you pertaining to the player Knicks in the first 2 games of the season? This time we'll start with you, Flo.
Man, this team stinks.
We care to elaborate.
First, Ron Baker is not a point guard. Ron Baker is a shooting guard. He has no business guarding Russell Westbrook or Ish Smith or Reggie Jackson at all. That's number one.
Not to interrupt you, but you think he's a shooting guard too? I don't think he's an NBA shooting guard right now.
So, what do you think he is at this point right now?
I think he should be on the bench, man. He should be on the bench. He should not be starting or getting any major playing time right now. To be honest with you, and no diss against Ron Baker, but you can barely handle the ball when he's out there. He's struggling mightily right now, man.
He's letting old man Felton take advantage of him in OKC. That was bad. It was real bad.
Exactly. But continue, Flo.
They had 10 turnovers in that first quarter against OKC. It's a horrible game defensively. They played 1 quarter well, which was the first quarter. That's it. Other than that, they stunk overall. Terrible. I think their big three, George, Melo, Westbrook, I think they outplayed the entire Knicks team.
Yeah, they did. They did. And you could see they was pacing themselves, too. That was the crazy part about it. It's like you could see Westbrook was basically just waiting to just trying to get everybody else into the game until he got to the point he said, all right, I'm tired of this. Let me take over for a little while. And this is like the first game. So imagine what this team's going to look like down the road. So, that's a very bad omen to me so far. And then the Pistons last night was that's a huge loss early in the season, having a 21-point lead and just blowing it. And as soon as the pressure get on the Knicks, they just crumble defensive-wise. It's like they can't handle any real pressure on them ball handlers, as you spoke about with Baker. But anything else you want to add there, Flo, for Ask Danny D?
Regarding to the Piston game, it was looking well for them. They only had four turnovers in the first half. But once again, they had a problem stopping the pick and roll especially in the third quarter. And also, one key adjustment that Coach Van Gundy made for the Pistons was he started Anthony Tolliver for the second half, and he really disrupted Porzingis. Got physical with him. He really roughed him up. It just took the sting out of the Knicks. It looked like the Knicks they were just fading away, And again, once again, Tobias Harris, LA can't stand the guy, but this guy was killing the Knicks, man, killing them.
I'd like Tobias Harris. I'm not gonna give him no max money to come to the Knicks to be no third or fourth option on this team. That's the big difference.
He's better than what Porzingis has right now.
He's no Porzingis, man. He's no Porzingis. You would not trade Tobias Harris Porzingis. Believe me, Detroit would bring him in a Uber right now if you could do that deal.
He would definitely be a great number 2 or number 3 option for Porzingis in New York.
I'm not saying he won't be a good number 3, but I'm just saying I don't feel like giving him max money. That's the only thing. The thing is, I'm not trying to just make the playoffs. I'm trying to win. You got KD, Thompson, and you got Steph Curry to worry about. You got LeBron, Kevin Love, and what's the name? Isaiah Thomas and all them other guys that got over there. That team is not going to win nothing with Tobias Harris being your fourth or third option, unless you got a really good number 1 or 2 with him. That's the only thing. I just don't want to give max money to them type of players no more, unless you really got a solid 1 and 2. And right now, you don't know who your number 1 is going to be with the Knicks. So that's the only reason why I'm saying I'm not going to go after him right away. What you think about that, Danny D, so far with the Knicks?
Yeah, it was the OKC game. Ron Baker's getting stripped at half court, throwing the ball away. I was like, it just looked awful. They tried to hustle, they didn't give up. Some bright spots that we have. Kylo Quinn is actually putting in work, rebounding. He's playing hard, But the problem with the Knicks is that Like you said, we don't even know. We know KP's the first option, but we have no second option. Tim Hardaway Jr. is not cutting it. What I'm saying from the beginning, going 0 for 6, 0 for 5, you can't afford to go 0 for 6 for 3-pointers. We need those points because we need you to be the second scorer. All that preseason crap don't mean nothing when you're playing in a regular season game. We need you to score and actually defend or go to the basket. Because the problem is when you have to pick and roll and you're going down, Ramon Sessions is not a great jump shooter. So he's going out there, they're going angles, he's going to the basket, going to the foul line. They need another scorer. KP can't do it by himself. Now it's going to fall on KP. He's doing the same thing Carmelo was doing. They're just going to have to ride him hard. You have Madurga come in. He gets buckets and things like that, but he needs time to gel into the game to get hot. He just can't come off the bench and start shooting threes. It's the same thing with Michael Beasley, another small forward. So you need another scorer, and it has to be Tim Hardaway Jr. And what about Courtney Lee, Mr. Inconsistent from last year? You know what I'm saying? So these are all the factors to go through. So Courtney Lee, I don't even remember what stats Courtney Lee had last night. What did he have? I don't even remember. I don't even remember.
Trying to remember for that game.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't remember. All I remember is Tim Hardaway Jr. shooting up mad threes, messing up, and then in the fourth quarter want to play.
Pretty much. It was just KP show. That's what it was. And that's not going to work for the Knicks as they go along in the season because it's going to be too easy to key in on him. And you're going to see that's what they're going to continue to do.
You know what? Courtney Lee had 4 points last night, guys. Jeez. Courtney Lee had 4 points in 29 minutes last night.
That's not going to get it, man.
Are you kidding me? He had 9 points with 31 minutes face OKC.
That's terrible, bro. That's terrible. And the thing is, the only other guy that's been playing well so far is Cantor. But the thing is, he's run out of steam after the first half or so. That's been his MO right now. And that's when people are out there saying, I see a lot of comment section asking for where's Hernangómez at? It's like, where's Waldo? So, they got to start giving him some more play, too, as they go along in the season right now. That's the thing I'm looking at. And overall, this got a logjam right now with Kyle Quinn. He finally got a little burn, played pretty well for what you got. And it just, looking at this team, like you just said, you need more out of Tim Hardaway. You need more out of Courtney Lee. And you don't have a point guard that's going to really break down the defense and really going to get these guys going. That's the other part that hurts you.
It is. So. It is going to hurt you, too. And then it's going to hurt you, too. And it's going to hurt you on the defensive end, too. Because Ramon Sessions is going to guard? You saw when Ish Smith, remember, and Ish Smith was killing us last night, and he didn't even start. Reggie Jackson started, I think. Ish Smith, he got busy. Ish Smith was like, you know what? Wait a minute. I'm faster than these guys. I'm about to go to work.
Exactly. And you saw the same thing with the guy who used to be with the Thunder.
Reggie Jackson.
Reggie Jackson. Same thing he was doing. He was getting physical with them at the end, driving.
At the end.
That's where you really miss Frank right there,
Yeah. Ramon Sessions is not a starting point guard. He's a backup point guard.
Exactly. So you don't have a legit big man in there to help Porzingis, and you don't really have the point guard to break down the defense like you want either. So, and the shooting. Right now, the shooting is not doing well. You're kicking it out, and they're bricking it. So, and the defense isn't consistent, just like last year. We talked about that, too. So, this is why I said it's going to be a long season, folks. Well, anything else you want to add there? Any one of y'all could jump in there real quick regarding how the Knicks are playing overall before we move to our next segment. Okay. And for our next segment, guys, we're just going to go right into the NBA Sport and News Weekly Review. And starting with you, Danny D, is there any NBA or any sports-related topic that you'd like to briefly discuss?
All I'm going to talk about right now, guys, we're talking about, according to Forbes.com, top NBA agent Andy Miller loses clients and fallout from college basketball scandal. So, Andy Miller is a top agent at ASM Sports, and he has Porzingis, Kyle Lowry. These are some of the players that he has on his agency. But now what happened was the federal agent with the college scandal, they subpoenaed his laptop and found out one of his players, one of Andy Miller's workers, Christian Dawkins, was a former NBA player, and they got him under investigation, telling how he was signing these college kids on the contract and things like that, and it was against the law with the scandal. So a lot of NBA players like Justin Patton and Adam Summer, two people who got drafted last year, have cut ties with Andy Miller because of this investigation, and they're saying they don't know what other NBA players are going to do with Andy Miller now, since that he's been investigated by the FBI. So a lot of NBA players, like, they don't want no part of that, and they want to move on and go somewhere else.
And that ties right into the major thing that's hitting the NCAA right now.
Mm-hmm. But because Andy Miller, so you have to watch out who you hire. So Andy Miller, I don't know what he's saying, but these are his employees. So he said he fired them, but they still took his laptop and they want to know what's going on. But some of the NBA players, like, they don't want none of that. So they said they got to cut ties with him.
Bad for Andy Miller.
Yeah, it is.
This is just how far the rabbit hole you want to get. Because it's a lot of corruption, and this is nothing new, It's been happening for years, for decades, and it's all connected back to NCAA, especially, you remember the Chris Webber situation with the Michigan Wolverines. A lot of their wins got churned over and everything of that nature. Same thing that's happened with Patino allegedly right now with the Louisville situation. So, I don't know. So it's a lot to think about. And the thing is, a lot of these players, they go from one player to another, and it's like they speak to them and find out, is this the right guy to use? Is this not the right guy to use?
Yeah.
And you don't really know what else he's going to say or how much he got, what is on that computer,
That's true.
That's the thing.
That's true.
Why is everybody running away from him like the play?
Mm-hmm. And then I'm sorry to say, these are the players that he has right now. He has Kyle Lowry, Serge Ibaka, Kristaps Porzingis, and also he has Miles Turner. That's who he's representing.
The only good thing with this is, like, no matter what comes out, these guys are already in the NBA. So it's like, it's not but so much you can do to them. It's more for the up-and-coming players, which is why it's going back to the NBA deciding if they're even going to be done with this one-and-done stuff. And we talked about this previously, Danny D, and see if they're really going to really try to push this D-League or even go back to the point where the players could come in straight out of high school. Because right now it's not really helping the NBA product. If these guys are not really being developed the way you want them to, it's not really helping you in that situation. So it's like now you got all these scandals breaking out all over the place. And do you even want to be associated with that and your players having to deal with that? Like the Bill Simmons situation, not so much a scandal, but like what did he really learn in LSU? You could really see he didn't really even want to be there a lot of times. So it's like you're not getting these players developing like back in the day with Duke and Grant Hill and getting a finished product. It's not really happening anymore. So you have to see where you're going to go from here. Anything you want to add to that, Flo?
No, LA.
Okay. Anything else you want to add there, Danny D?
Oh, no. Okay. You gotta be careful, man. Andy Miller's like, I don't know. That's your best friend, man. You know what's going on, player. Allegedly.
That's right. Make sure we put that out there, folks.
Allegedly.
All right. Thank you, Danny D. How about you, Flo? You got anything for NBA news today?
Yes, I do, LA. According to Kurt Mellon of NBC Sports, Danny Ainge says that the Celtics would apply for the disabled players exception. The disabled players exception gives the Celtics $8.4 million to pursue a player to fill Hayward's roster spot. The Celtics can go over the cap to use it, or they can acquire a player by trade or free agency. And that player must also be in his last year of their contract. Now, NBA-approved doctors state that Hayward won't return until mid-June. My question for both of you gentlemen is, how do you feel about this?
Let's you start, Danny D. What you think about it?
I don't know, because like you said with so it's not going to go on the books. It's going to affect the salary, right? You said, right?
Yeah.
then what's the point of having the G? Because now, once you have the G League, you can have a lot. You can bring somebody up with the two-way player contract. But then again, you need somebody to fill that void. So I agree with it a little bit because Gordon Hayward was a major part. So they really need a big-time player to step up and fill that void. So I have no problem with that.
I agree in that respect because you don't really know how well he's going to come back from the injury. That's the thing. Mm-hmm. But the thing is, do you really want to put that much money in somebody that could be a stopgap person? And it's like, who else do you really want to go after? Like, I don't know the player that would really make that huge a difference that's not already on the team right now.
Yeah, that's the thing.
So that's the tough part to me. I don't really understand where they would go with it. I mean, maybe you could do it down the road. Maybe try to trade for another player that has the same type of salary cap wise, or at the end of the season, I don't know if you could still use it if he doesn't come back like you think. So that's something to look forward to. What you think about it, Flo?
I don't have a problem with it, but it would probably benefit them using it via trade as opposed to free agency because really, there's no one really out there free agency that's worth that money right now currently.
Yeah, that's the same thing I'm thinking right now, looking at it. Well, time will tell, and people always got a spot for certain things like that. You never know. The team think they get one player away. Things can happen down the road. Maybe they might trade for that exception or trade a player that they don't really need. That might help them. It's kind of like how the Knicks have a abundance of players at one position. It might be a team that's like that at that position to help the Celtics. So we'll see what happens, though. And for me, I just have two little things, nothing major. One, I was wondering about Tyson Chandler. I'm hearing he might be in trade discussions as well as Jared Dudley. And I was trying to see, because basically the Suns are not winning anything right now. That's a young team. And maybe they might be able to get something for Chandler. So I'm trying to see if you think he might be a good fit for a team out there that might come to your mind off the top of your mind. And also another thing I saw with Jameer Nelson. He was recently released and recently just signed with the Pelicans. And I was just wondering, do you think that was a good deal for him? And what are your thoughts overall with that regarding Jameer Nelson? Because I got a little thought behind that one. Starting with you this time, Danny D.
What was the first part you said? That was with Tyson Chandler.
Yeah.
And Jared Dudley. Oof. It depends on what team really needs a center. Sometimes what team really needs a center right now. I'm looking at if you go to I don't even know what team needs a center right now.
I would have said the Celtics, but just considering now with their injury issues, I don't know how much he's really going to help them.
That's what I'm saying. Nah, if they had Gordon, maybe they would put. Nah, they need somebody. They need like a Jared. I don't know. But a center position, a team that needs a center like that.
So And what about the Jameer Nelson? I thought it was a little
Jameer Nelson. It's a good sign thing because he needs a job, so it's perfect for Jameer. He needs a job. So that's a plus anyway. But then you know what? It's so funny because I read the article because they released the guy. I forgot who they released for Jameer. I think it was oh goodness. I think it might have been Crawford.
Yes. Jordan Crawford, that's who it was.
Yeah, Jordan Crawford. Jordan Crawford was like, yo, this is some bull, man. You know what I'm saying? We suck anyway, and I'm over here getting buckets, and I'm getting cut. I'm getting cut off a horrible team to get Jameer here. So, it's he needs a job. I don't see any problem with it.
Okay. How about you, Flo? Same question. Regarding the Chandler, where you think he might end up, or Jared Dudley, and the same thing, what you thought about Jameer Nelson signing?
I'm going to work backwards. So I'm going to address the Jameer Nelson issue. Like you mentioned before, he needed a job, he got it. But the problem is, when I look at the Pelicans team, they need a shooting guard. So what was the purpose of them releasing Jordan Crawford? They need a two guard. They already have a point guard in Drew Holiday. They have a backup two guard in Tony Allen. They need a legit shooting guard. Jameer Nelson doesn't really solve their issue.
I totally agree with that one. That's what I was looking at. And then you also have Rondo there as a backup. So I'm like, why would you want to back up Rondo and Drew Holiday, and now you're the third backup on that team? I mean, you're not really going to get no playing time. And you're not really going to get to showcase yourself for another team down the road. I mean, I know he don't have that much left in the tank. Maybe that's what he's looking at. Or maybe doing it for lifestyle-wise or comfortability. But I just thought he kind of moved a little too quickly. You know, I just thought there was a lot of other teams out there could have used his services before that team. I didn't really understand it from that perspective. But maybe it's like Danny D said, a lot of people already use their cat space or something of that nature, and he wanted to play now. So, you know, I just thought that was a weird signing on that part. And what about the Tyson Chandler?
With Tyson Chandler and Jared Dudley, I think probably the best fit for those players are teams that really need a big, maybe like the Washington Wizards. That should help them tremendously. They got to build up their bench depth, so that would help. Substitute offense for defense with Gertat for Chandler. And with Dudley, a nice solid 3-and-D player. He's getting a little bit older, but he can still knock down the three. So, that's the team I'm looking at. I'm trying to see the other teams out there that come to mind. Can't think of any other teams right now. Maybe they'll come to me soon, but the Wizards stand out to me as a perfect fit for those two players.
Okay. I hear that definitely. I definitely could see a part of that. I could see the Wizards. I could see the Timberwolves maybe if they had a space for him. He might help them out. Also, even a Dallas, I could see that maybe making a move back there down the road because on Nerlens Noel, he's playing pretty well so far. But he'd be a nice vet, help him out down there. But, I think he definitely could help a team down the road. Something to just keep an eye on. And, that's it, guys, for the NBA Weekly Roundup. Appreciate it. And we're just going right into our closing remarks. And starting with you, Flo.
LA, I want to thank all the listeners. Please, definitely tell a friend, let them know about Knicksfandom. I want to thank both of you gentlemen for allowing me to be part of this good show. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you, Flo. Much appreciated, brother. How about you, Danny D? What's your closing remarks?
I want to thank all the listeners. Subscribe, tell a friend, and tell a friend. And I want to thank you guys for having a good show today. Appreciate it.
Okay. Same here. Much appreciated, Danny D. As always, thanks again, Flo and Dan D, for your great assessments and excellent contributions to the show. Couldn't do without you guys. Big thank you to our dedicated listeners as always. We definitely appreciate all of you. Make sure to stay tuned to our Facebook page and Twitter account regarding any and all announcements. And make it a good one out there, folks. See ya.